Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be providing a long-term market analysis and outlook for Theta. In this video, I will talk about some critical levels of support, some areas of potential resistance, and then my outlook on the Theta Bitcoin ratio as well, which by the way, looking at altcoins priced in Bitcoin from my perspective is absolutely necessary. So if you guys enjoy the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, by the way, feel free to check out our sponsors in the link in the description below. This channel is partnered with FTX.us. So first, I just want to talk about this very important support level I have outlined in yellow on the chart. That is coming in around $1.07. And notice how this was a level that Theta has been bouncing off of for the better part of 3 months now. So you can see that, this was an area that held as support back here in May. And then you can also see another bounce right here later on in May. We had another retest in June, another retest in July, a few more retests later on. This one in September was the last bounce, and currently we are back below this level. So if you're bullish on Theta, I would say really look into the next few weeks if Theta can reclaim this level of previous support, because if not, if we're starting to flip this into resistance, and then hypothetically if we were to have a rejection, that would not be a good sign, and that would basically be a breakdown of this range we've been in. Once again, our support range low at around $1.07, the range high being around $1.70. So we've basically just been oscillating back and forth between those levels, but losing the lows right now would mean that we're exiting that range, we're starting to break down, and if I zoom out here, that once again would just be this longer term bearish trend continuation. And we've seen this pattern play out before, and if we just look at this previous move from January until March, look, we had the same range established. We basically oscillated from the highs to the lows. When the lows broke down, we flipped it into resistance, and then we continued that downtrend and made a fresh set of new lows for our new range. So if something like that were to continue and the same pattern were to play out, watch out for that, because if we're really starting to flip this into resistance, it wouldn't look any different than this previous move, which you can see was followed with a pretty intense capitulation-like event. Now, if something like this were to happen, which certainly Theta could just reclaim this, flip it back into support, and we would sort of avoid this possibility. But if we are starting to break down, then I would look out to this next support level, which is gonna be around 78 cents. Now, this is our next support level, because if we're going all the way back here to 2020, where we really had this first area being developed, look how we held resistance at this area basically for around 90 days. So 3 months just consolidating under this area. This was the range high, that was the resistance. And then when we broke out of this consolidation, notice how that really started to elevate and pick up the bull run. That really started to kick Theta into this higher rate of change, where it just started to get steeper and steeper in its uptrend. So once again, that was sort of the range that we were in. That was the high, that was the resistance. So I will be looking to this as longer term support if we're starting to break down and really flip this level at $1.07 into resistance. So those are the support levels to watch out for if we are breaking down. Now I want to talk about the resistance areas, which I think is best illustrated if I switch over here to a weekly chart. And what I'm going to be looking at is these two moving averages. The green one is the 21 exponential moving average, and then the red one is a 20 simple moving average. So together, I like to consider them as a band. If you've been following my channels, I use this for a lot of different altcoins, basically because they work so well on the weekly time frame. And you can see that Theta has rejected off of this level back here in January. That's a lower high. That was where the resistance formed. You can see another lower high in April, another rejection, another point of resistance, and then we had a move taking us up really close to these moving averages. We didn't actually reach them, but I would consider this a rejection as well. So look out, if we are actually starting to bounce off these lows and then head back up, look out to these moving averages as our potential resistance. The 20-week simple moving average is at $1.25, and then the 21-week exponential moving average is at $1.58. So it's a pretty wide range, and I would consider that partly due to the 20-week really starting to come back down here on this most recent decline. So again, I would consider this as a band of resistance, and even though it is quite the significant range, still I would say watch out for those levels. Now with these moving averages, do consider though that they are declining week over week. You can see they have basically had this downwards trajectory ever since November of 2021. So if we were to say retest these in a few weeks, they could be at lower valuations. So that's just something to watch out for. each weekly close they will be moving down and averaging down because the 20-week trend is in a declining phase. So now I want to switch over here to the Theta Bitcoin ratio, which, as I said in the introduction, I think this is an extremely important chart to consider. And the Bitcoin ratio with altcoins really does give us a good idea of the opportunity cost, because if you're investing in an altcoin, those dollars aren't being invested in Bitcoin. And with Theta Bitcoin, we really had this peak back here in June of 2021. And ever since then, it's been a very consistent and steady downtrend, where if I just draw some sort of general trend line, there's no exact or best fit, but you can see that clear trend to the downside where we have lower highs, lower lows, and this structure has been intact for almost 16 months. So I really do want to start to see this reverse at some point, and as an illustration, what that would look like is generally starting to break this downward sloping resistance where we start to come up. Maybe we form a higher high and we take out this high back here in August around 749 Satoshis. And then if we do have a correction or a move back down, if we can start to form higher lows again, where we do have a low above the current low in place back in May around 380 Satoshis. So this type of structure would really start to reverse the tides back to the upside, and that's what I want to see with Theta Bitcoin, because I really do want to see altcoins outperform Bitcoin if I'm going to be investing in them. Because if they're not, if they're underperforming, I would just rather have that capital allocated and invested into Bitcoin instead. So I hope you guys did enjoy the content and the analysis. By the way, make sure to check out our sponsors in the link in the description below. This channel is partnered with FTX.us. It's a great cryptocurrency exchange. And if you sign up with my link in the description below or through my referral code SNOWYCRYPTO, you can get a 5% discount on exchange fees. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.